Hello, welcome to the Creative Lounge. And that means we're hanging out in our Facebook groups. But I want to talk about value. It's only going to take a little bit. And then, of course, it's a lounge. So let's have a conversation, right? So this is what Cheryl said. So in our Facebook group, she says, I'm not here much anymore. By here, I mean on Facebook. I'm seriously considered about leaving the platform. It takes me away from my photographic work time and for the most part doesn't give me much value these days. But I'm taking a tea break and decided to share some of what I've been working on with you all. And she was working on a lichen, which is awesome and so much fun. I love lichen. But this really hit me. Let me put me back on there. So this really hit me. I was like, you know what? I totally get the feel of the drive, the sucking of, social media. I feel like when it comes to this, there is some things that we should think about when it comes to social media. How do you feel about social media? I mean, how do you feel like what she just said? I read exactly what she just said. So I want to know how you feel. And she's talking about Facebook and she's even thinking about getting off. And I don't really feel she should get off of Facebook, to tell you the truth. I feel like, and I'm going to tell you why. When we talk about value, I want us to always think beyond the subject itself. Okay, this is what we're talking. This is what she's getting sucked up into. And taken away from her creativity and her frustration of social media. But before we even dive into this, I'm going to show you this. This is so exciting. I want you guys to know about what's happening. So I'm going to dive. Guess what? Next week, I'm so excited. I hope that you guys can join me. It's at 1:00 next Friday, the 11th of March. And I'm going to be live on Andrew Kavanagh's Photoshop and Lightroom area. And so this is the group that he's in. I don't know if any of you guys are in it. I'm excited to share with you what I'm going to do. So it'll be March 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's the group right there that I'm sharing with you guys. And I'm going to talk about compositing your landscape and macro image to tell your story. Is that me or what, you guys? You know me. But the reason why I wanted to share this with you guys, ask me questions about compositing your landscape and macro work or changing. We'll talk about compositing a little bit real quick on what I'm thinking about compositing. And I'm going to answer your questions on the show. And it's just between you and me, right? So here's another one. So that was my macro close-up. Here's another compositing. I'm going to share some other. But here, look at to the left. That is the image I took. I did not envision that. I added to the right what I wanted that image to feel. This is my story to the right. The camera is basically capturing what I want to make in the future. So I'm going to teach and explain how I do this when he interviews me next week. Let's talk about social media, on how I feel about it. It's in all of us to want to move forward with our creativity. And so I feel like the only way that we can push ourselves to the next level is to see somebody you admire. But the problem is if you keep going online and looking at the work. If you're on several groups, like let's just say professional macro photography is kind of turned into like a normal dump your images, and that's okay, whatever. That's, you know what, you're excited about your work. But if you're starting to look at the other pieces and keep going and going and going, you got to get off. Maybe just look at one or two images and you're like, that's cool, get off. But what I'm asking you to do, I said that twice, is give inspiration from what you've done. Like, Sue, you just rocked your waterfall. I don't know if you're in any landscape photography groups. That's a beautiful moment. And tell that story when you're sharing your work. Remember, You're giving others inspiration, viewing a waterfall. I do not have any waterfalls like you just shot in my location. Nope. So I want you to think of that. It's value because you are giving too. So it's not always take. So the inspiration is to say, ooh, when I saw Sue's image, I'm going to be like, when I see a waterfall, I'm going to think about Sue because that rocked, and I want to do slow shutter speed, and I'm going to do that. So think of it that way instead of a competition. The one that's really valued is when you share your work to be monetized or to get your work in maybe a show. I always like to monetize because I like money. I'm not going to lie. Money is important to me and Kevin to live our life the way we want to. And we work hard. So you shouldn't feel bad either. So your time sucker, when you go on social media, take 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, even if it's sucking you dry. Put your images out there, put an image out there, and pay attention. If somebody comments, make sure you comment back. Don't leave social media, Cheryl, because you should just limit the time that you're on the social platform. You will not realize how long you've been on social media if you don't put a timer on. If you are going to monetize, it is a beast. You know, most of the time you need help with that. So join a membership, take a class. If you don't want to join something that we have, the Creative Mentorship Program, then take a class because you're going to suck in so much time and money if you want to monetize in your Facebook. And then again, always set your boundaries. Always set your boundaries, because if you feel funny and icky inside, that funny, icky feeling, then your boundaries are up to you to say, I'm done. But to cut yourself totally off is a disservice to yourself. Because let me talk to you face to face when I say this. To cut yourself off is a disservice. If I didn't have the social platforms out there, I wouldn't learn new things. I wouldn't be inspired to say, let me try this. Oh, well, I like this. No, I don't like this. I wouldn't move forward and step out of my comfort zone. And it is so hard to put the thick skin on, for sure, when you are admiring other photographers. So what I'd like to say to you is be selfish. Be selfish, and when you go to another social group, share your work and bounce out of it until you start feeling good again. Then go back and start connecting again and talking to them. But right now, why don't you just think of it like go out and give value to somebody else. And if somebody else doesn't like it, too bad. Too bad. They're out. Block them if they say something mean. You know how many people I block? I block so many people because life is too short. I put this in here. I want you to breathe. Cheryl, this is Cheryl saying she wants to jump off. Breathe and enjoy. The moment of you creating and making the work that you love really does make a difference. I always say your 1,000 words does make a difference. It really, really does. And you're being way too hard on yourself. Yeah, so check out our group. Go in, give some thumbs up. You don't have to say anything. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in the group.